West of Arkham, the hills rise wild, and there are valleys with deep woods that no axe has ever cut. There are dark, narrow glens where the trees slope fantastically, and where thin brooklets trickle without ever having caught the glint of sunlight. On the gentler slopes, there are farms, ancient and rocky, with squat, moss-coated cottages brooding eternally over New England secrets in the lee of great ledges. But these are all vacant now, the wide chimneys crumbling and the shingled sides bulging perilously beneath low gambrel roofs. The old folk have gone away, and foreigners do not like to live there. French Canadians have tried it, Italians have tried it, and the Poles have come and departed. It is not because of anything that can be seen or heard or handled, but because of something that is imagined. The place is not good for the imagination, and does not bring restful dreams at night. It must be this which keeps the foreigners away, for old Ammi Pierce has never told them of anything he recalls from the strange days. Ammi, whose head has been a little queer for years, is the only one who still remains, or whoever talks of the strange days, and he dares to do this because his house is so near the open fields and the traveled roads around Arkham. Well, hello, this is Podcast 2 for Sci-Clops.
Hope you weren't listening to this at night.
That was The Color Out of Space by H.P. Lovecraft. As you know, we love H.P. Lovecraft here. And
Cthulhu for president.
Cthulhu for president. The lesser of...
Two evils.
The greater of all evils. No, it's the greater of all. Why pick the lesser of two when you can have the whole thing?
Let's just clean slate the whole thing.
So, just want to give you a couple quick notes here. And we wanted to... First, we want to thank everybody because we just hit 1,000 Twitter followers and really, really excited about it. Really thank you for following us, and it's just great to see. And we will do everything possible to keep improving and putting some great stuff up on Twitter. And everything we talk about tonight, by the way, there'll be links at the bottom. If you look down at the bottom of the YouTube show here. On YouTube, we'll have links to all the stuff we talk about and all our social media sites and things. And if you would, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free, it's easy, and all the cool kids are doing it.
I mean, if that's not enough to get you, I don't know what is. No one wants to be lame.
Oh, I'm Dan, by the way.
I'm Tom, still.
Still. Even after reading H.P. Lovecraft, he hasn't changed in anything terrible. And we're going to get right to work here. Let's find out what's going on. I think we'll start out with, let's go right into movies, Tom.
Well... The new Power Rangers reboot is next year, and I was initially pretty excited, and then the costume reveal came, and it was nothing. I didn't expect carbon copies of the old TV show, but it was like different colored Iron Man suits, basically. And this week they just revealed what all the Zords look like, and similarly following suit, the Zords all have these very modernized, like edgy... I can just picture some executive thing. These will look so cool for toys, but, the cosmetic look it's not necessarily indicative of how the movie's going to go, but right now I'm not digging it so far. But, we just found out Bill Hader's going to be Alpha 5, and he's always fun, so maybe next year it'll be a good movie, but I don't know.
And you're such a huge fan, too.
Oh, yeah, it's I know way more Power Rangers trivia than I should.
Oh, man, I remember, how much do we put into Power Rangers?
Oh, a lot.
As kids.
I still have a few Power Ranger shirts. I'm wearing one right now.
As you should. Still great cosplay. You go to the conventions and see some.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of Fantastic Ranger cosplay. You only see like classic Rangers though. You never see like any of the later seasons.
Yeah, you're right. It's always classics.
It's the first season. That's it.
That's what everybody grew up with.
Yeah.
All the kids, and now they're all like cosplayers.
Yeah.
And any other movies or anything you're looking at?
In other movie news, similarly not so good news. Friday the 13th, I guess it was going to be a sequel to the most recent one in 2009. It got put on hold for the fourth time. And I don't know, I don't get what the big delay with it is. I'm not sure if it's a script or they're having production troubles, because the last movie was was a decent financial success. It was a budget of $19 million, and it made $91 million.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's not like they sunk a whole bunch of money into it and then got nothing out of it.
That's not decent. That's spectacular.
Yeah.
In my book.
Oh, yeah.
19 to 91.
It's because, they didn't have any huge, like, it was all, like, teenagers who weren't really at. The biggest star was Jared Padalecki, who was in the early beginnings of his Supernatural career. But I just don't get what the holdup is. Derek Mears has said he'd love to play Jason again. It's not like you need to bring any of the original cast back or anything. Jason kills everybody.
What's so hard about this? I mean, it's teenagers. It's splitting up into the woods and hooking up and getting killed.
Yeah,
in various ways.
The basic Friday the 13th formula.
With a couple maybe different angles, because who's one of the hottest things on horror right now? Freddy and Jason and Michael. And this is
Michael more than those two, because his movies are more recent. The Freddy one was okay. It didn't do much. But the Jason one I liked. I dug the whole underground tunnel system. And he had the tripwires,
awesome.
And it was a nice way to kind of just like rationalize him just appearing out of nowhere. It's because he's got that trapdoor system everywhere and everything. And I liked it. I thought it was a good one.
One of the few franchises where you didn't have to justify plot holes.
Yeah.
And this one, they did it anyway.
They shored up a lot of them. And it wasn't even necessarily plot holes. It was just like, you'd kind of roll your eyes at the screen and go, oh, okay, he got all the way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I don't get what the holdup is. But
I mean, and it is kind of like you're scratching your head, because this seems like it's, like plug and play. You put them out there, you put the kids in there, you have everybody get axed and shot and stabbed, and you're on your way to the next one.
I think it was John Carmack, I think, one of the co-creators of Doom. Mm-hmm. He said Doom was the same thing over and over again, but it was the right same thing over and over again. And that's what Jason is. It's the same thing over and over again, but it's the right same thing over and over again.
The right same thing, yeah. And it's a formula that works. Well, if anything else you can think about that might be slowing it down? Or?
I haven't. I initially heard there was a script. The first time it got delayed way back in like 2010 and 11 I heard it was script rewrites, and it was, I think it was when Universal and MGM had that big financial hoopla, which is also why we didn't get that sequel to Quantum of Solace for James Bond.
Okay. But
I'm not sure what's been going on with it since then.
Well, I'm looking at the one movie I'm looking at is called Ra, and it's actually a Kickstarter project. It's R'*HA, like Ra, like the Egyptian god. And if you go to Facebook, Ra, it's just going to be RHA there. Pardon me, Facebook Ra. You'll see why it's referred to, the Egyptian background. The aliens are cool. The special effects are really cool.
Especially for a little indie project.
They look really good for an indie project. And I think we were saying it looked like a cross almost between like an Aliens and Predator type thing.
It was like, I was thinking like the original Stargate kind of, with those giant metal horse heads and everything.
Just great. And the Alien thing more just for the special effects, but it was just...
It was also a nice change of pace that it wasn't humans and technology.
Yeah, there's no humans.
I mean, we've seen, between Terminator and all the other franchises. Oh no, we've created AI and it's destroyed us. But I mean, this was interesting because it was a nice little change of pace from the whole humans struggle against an incredibly superior force, and now you have aliens.
So aliens struggling against incredibly superior. It looks like an AI.
Yeah.
And that's now I'm thinking about Matrix in there too.
I was just about to say that the AI thing, it looked a lot like in Matrix 3 when he goes to the Machine City and you see those crazy things. Yeah. It was very reminiscent of that. Not so reminiscent where I was like, oh my god, it's a ripoff, but but it would definitely evoke that kind of imagery, I think.
And absolutely, and not even like a ripoff, but when you think that this is a Kickstarter project, you think, wow, somebody did this probably on their MacBook or something. Like, this is incredible. I don't know how they did it. I haven't researched that, but if you want, take a look at this. It's pretty cool. You can probably still throw in a few bucks, and it's on Kickstarter. Worth it. I did, and I'm really glad I did. And I'm just waiting. I think they're in script world or something right now. They're writing the script, and there's script hell or whatever's going on. I don't know, but they're getting that cleaned up, and then we'll find out what happens soon. And hopefully that thing's going to come out because it looks really, really good. And I've seen some of even the little Kickstarter prizes look pretty good. The raw prizes. Any other movies you're thinking of? Or?
that's all I got for movies. I do have a couple things on TV, though, which kind of ducktail into movies.
Right into shows.
The Dark Tower thing they're doing with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. I love the book series. I read all 7 books back to back to back to back. Fantastic franchise. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple expanded novels I want to get into, too. But for the first 3 books of the series, we don't know all that much about the main character, Roland, the gunslinger. He alludes to his past, we kind of get snippets here and there, but until the 4th book, Wizard and Glass, mm-hmm. we never have a definitive, this is what happened to him, this is why, he's kind of the way he is in his quest. Mm-hmm. And so the first movie they're doing is just, the Dark Tower. And they announced that to tie into the movie, they're doing a 10 or 13 episode series on the Wizard and Glass, which is going to come out, I think, either at the same time or slightly before the movie. And I don't really like that, because a lot of Roland's appeal initially is that mystery, is that, who is this guy? How did he get, he became like the Jedi of the Old West, just mowing people down with, 6-shooters. And to give all that backstory away, it's just like front-loading it in. And I guess if they're not going to do all 7 movies, because if they do Wizard and Glass as a TV show, they're not going to do a movie on it. So if they're going to kind of just maybe condense it into fewer movies, I guess you would want to do that. But still, I think there's something to be said for that mystery to a character in the beginning.
Absolutely. And that was the whole point from book 1. The Dark Man came and...
The Man in Black fled through the desert and the Gunslinger followed. I still remember that.
Great opening line.
Yeah.
And then there was, who are these two? And it starts with a typical king opens the line, opens the 10,000 million page book with an incredible opening line, just like The Stand, which is like, oh my god, opening up that first few paragraphs, you're like, oh, here we go. But to throw the mystery down the toilet is kind of like, I don't know.
The Wizard and Glass won't give away everything because it only covers a certain period of his life, but it'll give away a lot. And I don't know. I think there's something to be said. I wouldn't mind them filming it before the movie and then maybe doing it afterwards, but I guess they are going to do what they're going to do.
They're going to do what they're going to do. Well, we'll see how it goes. Again, we have to see if this mystery thing, if they ruin the mystery, if they go, maybe they got some other completely new idea. I don't know. You see stuff like this and you get really frustrated and worried because you're like, oh no, what are you doing? And this has never been done, the Dark Tower, so you really don't want to see it come out of the start and get
it hasn't. They've done The Stand, they've done a bunch of other stuff, but I don't think the Dark Tower's ever had a live action.
And The Stand could be done again. Some of the King movies could definitely be done again. I mean, the one on TV that
the one in the 80s.
It was good. Okay. It was pretty good.
Well, the thing about The Stand is it's like Harry Potter. I mean, the book is just so massive.
It's so huge.
Now I think, speaking of Netflix, I think The Stand would make an excellent Netflix one season off.
You could see Netflix or Hulu or Amazon.
Yeah, any of those guys. That would be fantastic because you can't do The Stand as one movie. Mm-hmm. And it's maybe you could stretch it into 3 if you wanted to do a trilogy, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I really think it would be best as a 10 or 13 episode Netflix or Amazon.
Just like they did with Stranger Things. And it looks like they could have closed that up and they're going to keep going with it. But The Stand, you could easily go. And of course, if you really want to have fun, you take The Stand and you do the King multiverse, which we'd like to see that start happening eventually, where you start seeing the Man in Black start crossing over all over, And they talk about it everywhere. He's in, they talk about.
They mentioned that in the Dark Tower too.
Yeah,
he's walking down a road and he thinks it wasn't all too long ago that I brought a plague to a world just like this one.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they run in the newspapers there?
No, they had
see the newspaper.
We're getting into spoiler
territory. We won't go too far down.
Yeah,
sorry about that, folks.
We won't talk about that.
We tend to get in all kinds of. We don't want to give too much away.
And another one pretty prescient, considering it's only a little less than a week away, is Luke Cage debuts on the 30th.
It's going to be hot.
All season 1. I'm going to try to control myself, but I will probably binge it all at once. I think it's going to be fantastic. Luke Cage Netflix has really given these characters, either like Daredevil, who really needed a refresher after that Ben Affleck movie, or like Jessica Jones, who, nobody, even I, as a comic book fan, had to look her up because she hasn't been doing much in mainstream Marvel Comics. Mm-hmm. And Luke Cage is another one of those lesser known, but still great character. He'll have a lot of great stories. And I think the cast they've lined up so far is fantastic.
Right.
I haven't looked too much into, spoilery things from the set because I really want to go in as blind as I can. And a Daredevil pun. But I think it'll be fantastic, and I think I can't remember the executive's name. Maybe it was even an actor. But somebody said it's ironic that Luke Cage is debuting when it is in a period of like such kind of like tension among the black community. Yeah. And he said, whoever it was said, right now a bulletproof black man is kind of something I think we need on TV.
I gotta find out who said that.
I really should look that up. But I think it's true. I think Luke Cage is it's nice to see that Marvel and DC are starting to kind of branch out more in terms of just diversity in their characters. And it's the whole Will Smith being Deadshot thing. Right. It's like, really, if Will Smith wasn't Deadshot, it'd be a bunch of white guys. And an Asian girl. And that's it.
And it's nice to say, I don't see it as having to go down and be diverse. I see it as, hey, there's a whole segment of market there you're ignoring. And they would like to see this too. And so throw in some black or Asian.
And the crazy thing is, it's not like there's none of them. There's plenty of characters of color that they just never do anything with on screen.
And I'll tell you, I saw that Luke Cage trailer, and it is great. He's just beating the snot out of things, and he's like, he's like the Black One Punch Man. Yeah, he's just kicking butt.
He's got
the one punch, you're done. Yeah,
super strength and unbreakable skin.
Love it. It looks like a lot of fun. Yeah. I just hope they don't drama it up too much. With like tears and crying and ex-girlfriend showing up. I just hope he kicks butt. And rolling through and has a lot.
I'm betting. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of drama, but I'm guessing it's going to be mostly him just beating the bejesus out of people left and right.
That's what we need right now. So it'll be. I think it's going to be hot. I just loved the trailer. The trailer just looked like all the gloves are off, no holds barred. We're just going to start smashing
he's
stuff.
He's pissed off and he's not going to take it anymore.
Good.
And then my last bit of TV news is on Star Wars Rebels. They had the debut, finally, in canon universe of Admiral Thrawn.
Oh, Thrawn.
And he had a whole trilogy in the Expanded Universe book series. Fans loved him. And then, they were clamoring for like an after, Return of the Jedi kind of setting for the movies or TV or anything. And a big request was Admiral Thrawn being brought in. He kind of fills the power void after the Emperor dies, basically. And they brought him in Rebels Season 3 after Disney, torpedoed the whole expanded universe, which pissed a lot of people off. But now he's in universe. He's an official character. But it's just during Rebels, so this is pre A New Hope.
Right.
But he's still being introduced now, so he's now an official character, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. Because he's like a very Machiavellian schemer and power player. And it's also interesting because he's one of the few non-human members of like an alien species to get promoted up to being an admiral. He's an alien.
They're all human.
Yeah, think about it. All the Grand Moffs, all the admirals were all just little pasty British guys.
Yeah. It's like when the Emperor cleaned out the robots, he said, clean out the aliens too.
Yeah, right?
Like, whoa.
Yeah. But Thrawn was one of the few to rise to that rank and still be an alien.
Right.
Which shows you just how good he was, that even the Emperor couldn't overlook him.
It's something you said is key. The fans are clamoring for Thrawn because you go on the Twitter feed with anything sci-fi or Star Wars, and it's just Thrawn all over the place. Like,
I know.
Someone over at Disney.
A lot of my friends were very excited to see that he was officially getting a debut.
And I think they're going to see it, and they're going to do.
Oh yeah, it happened. It was today actually, earlier, and but. It's interesting, and it's always nice to see, because there's only so much you can do with Vader and Emperor, and you're like, can we get some new people in here?
I mean, we love Vader and we love the Emperor.
Oh yeah,
but again, if you get some new people in, like if I hope so many executives are listening to this, because I hope they don't Darth Maul anybody again. I mean, you had a character there who was going to go for a great 3 episodes, and they killed him off in the first.
Well, the hilarious thing is he's back. Maul is still alive.
Don't get me started on that.
I know.
I'm very bitter about that.
I know. It's like they realized, oh god, we killed him way too soon, so let's bring it back. And they did, and it led to some good material. But it's like, really, he got cut in half
and
fell down a shaft. I mean, yes, he didn't bleed out because the lightsaber, cauterizes everything, but the shock of getting cut in half.
And he ate a loaf of bread that was not gluten-free.
He did. Everybody knows that will kill you instantly.
That's like, triple whammy right there. You can't survive that. So please don't bring this guy back. But and those, another thing, here we go again. Those first 3, 1, 2, and 3 suffered from too many characters in and out too fast. And you had General Grievous, and you had Darth Sidious, and who we loved, and you had Darth Tyrannus, and you had Darth Maul, and you had
it was a revolving door for bad guys.
Yeah, you had to slow it down.
I think every episode had a bad guy get chumped. Yeah, Darth Maul in episode 1, Jango Fett in episode 2, and Grievous in episode 3.
Yeah, Grievous with a blaster, and how many?
No, not even the blaster, but Obi-Wan cut off like 3 of his arms in 2 seconds.
and then what episode?
Episode 4 nobody gets chumped. 5, I don't think anybody does either. 6 is Boba Fett.
Classic Boba Fett. Right down the Sarlacc.
Which is, again, they need to bring him back. Because every expanded universe story they ever did begins, almost with Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc.
I have confidence that Disney will slip him in somewhere down the line, or something to do with him, because he was so huge, and fans love him so much, and to just chump him like they did, kick him down the line, it was like, huh? And he could get out easily. You can see, what's that famous picture with him blasting his way out?
Jetpack and the flamethrower.
Jetpack and the flamethrower. Yeah. So he's on his way out. Hopefully we'll see some Boba Fett. And but back to Thrawn. Thrawn's going to be hot. He's going to be the bomb this coming season. Going on to really quick on another show that I'm looking at is, I'm a little behind on this, but I'm on Death Note, and I just love it. Somebody suggested I watch Death Note. I was at a con, and I met a young lady, and she said, I'm really into this Death Note, you got to see this. Okay, I'll turn it on. I'd done a few things on it, but I hadn't really followed it very much, and I got hooked. And it's basically, I don't want to give too much away, but it's a giant mental chess game between two forces, and it's you get into it, you're like, and it gets more and more intense with each episode. And I never expected that from anime. I never thought I was going to get into this kind. I thought it was going to be a lot of people, because I grew up on Speed Racer and all that stuff, and I thought it was just things blowing up and people going in. And
that's the thing. If you look hard enough, anime has something for everybody.
It's fantastic, and I'm really getting into it more and more. And I never thought I would say that, and I really like it a lot. And I've gotten into One Punch and now.
Are you following the Death Note movie Netflix is doing?
I'm a little concerned about that. I saw the movie,
the cast.
And I'm really not sure how they're going to do a movie with this. They're talking about wrapping the whole thing up, and I don't know. The movie, I suppose, I'll just wait and see on this one. I kind of like the cartoon. I don't know how it's going to translate to a movie.
Well, they've actually done a few movies already. In Japan, they did movies, trilogy, I think. I haven't seen them. I've seen a few episodes of Death Note. But I look at the Death Note cast, and I'm like, really? There's 3 Asian guys in this whole thing.
Yeah. It's Asian.
Yeah.
It's and here we go back to that thing, with
diversity
black characters and diversity.
Yeah.
And, if you're going to make an Asian anime movie, you got to put Asian guys in the Asian anime movie. It's getting a little silly here, But a lot of the Death Note, and I don't want to give too much away here, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's a lot of them. You're getting a lot of what they're thinking. So how that's going to translate to a movie, maybe they've done it already and it went over good. I don't know, but
even if they have
a lot of thinking involved,
they still have 3 movies to look back on and see what worked and what didn't. But
I like it. I think I recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's on Hulu right now. I think all the episodes for the first season or second, whatever, they're all up there. They were down and now they're back. Because at one point they had put them up, and then they took them down, and then they put up the last half. And I said, why would you put 9 to 14 and take down 1 through 6, or whatever it was? And it was just, come on. Now they're all up, and so I'm racing through them as fast as I can before they pull them back down again. So into Death Note, into Star Wars Rebels. My God, it's a great time to be alive. The TV has gotten fantastic. Hulu, Amazon.
So backlogged Netflix. On stuff I need to watch. It's
you
not
too?
Even funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what am I going to watch today? I'm just so buried.
And now the miniseries like Stars and things like BBC are doing great stuff, and it's just killing me.
and I'll still be backed up. The one thing that I will clear my schedule for is the next Sherlock. It's going to be unbelievable. So we won't get into that tonight, but another show. So moving on really quick, I'm just going to cover a quick book here. I'm doing I don't know if I mentioned it last week. Kip the Quick. Kip, K-I-P, the Quick. It's a fantasy novel, and I'm reading the. It's not too long. I'm gonna look it up right now just to tell you who wrote it, because I'm suddenly having a mind blank, and I'm not gonna get it in time. But check out this fantasy novel online. It's Kip the Quick. It's about a young thief in a fantasy world. Really well written, really fast paced, excellent. And I actually put up a review on Sci-Clops. If you go to Sci-Clops, go to the top right corner. There's a little search bar up there. Put in Kip the Quick, and that'll give you a good little review on it. I got the links to all the sites that the book came from and the author and everything, and highly recommend it. And I can actually see if this starts to move and this book goes into more and more sequels. You can see 10, 15, 20 stories out of this thing.
Is it a recent one?
It's brand new, yeah.
Oh.
And I just talked to the author, and he said he's got to write more quick, because I said this could go to movies easily. It could be hot. The author is Clifton Hill, Clifton Hill, Hill. It's on Amazon. You can get it through the site too. We've got everything up there. You can get if you order anything, please use our site, Sci-Clops, Sci-Clops.com. We got an Amazon add-on there, and it really helps us. It's an easy way to support the site. But you can order right through there, and you can do a search on Kip the Quick. So I just wanted to just mention that really quick. It's a great fantasy novel. It's young enough that it's good enough for a teen audience, but not designed to teens. But also could be read by an adult and still be enjoyable.
You gotta walk that line when you do something.
But very fast paced. Wow, and you really get into the characters. So I really enjoyed it. So I didn't want to spend too much time on that either. What do you got? What are you doing, comics and?
Comics this week. I got my next set of 3: one by Marvel, one by DC, and then one by somebody else. Was not too blown away. They're right in the middle of Civil War II in Marvel right now. And I think Civil War II, I'm liking it so far. But they've done a whole bunch of miniseries spin-offs from the main story, a lot of which are really good. I'm reading the X-Men one right now, which just wrapped up with its last issue, number 4, and it really felt like they built up to a whole lot of nothing.
Well,
they did this. It was this nice. There was some switching of sides. Like Magneto has his team of X-Men, and Storm has her team of X-Men. Yeah. Magneto hates the Inhumans and wants to get rid of them. Storm wants to work with them peacefully to try to come to a solution. So there's a couple switching of players on sides. Some guys on Magneto's team go to Storm. Some guys on Storm's team go to Magneto. And then it all caps off with this big raid that in the end results in Magneto just backing off and everybody going back to their sides. And it really it ends with everything being set back to the status quo. No one stayed on the other team. No one died. It was a whole lot of build-up and a lot of tension, and it went nowhere. Everybody just went back home
and said, even the movies did switcheroos.
And they should, nothing. It was just so I don't know. We'll see where it goes from here, but
that's because part of the appeal of the X-Men is who's going to switch side this week.
Yeah, a lot of the X-Men started off as villains. Yeah. Gambit did. Rogue initially was a villain. Mm-hmm. There's quite a few guys who started off, and Magneto isn't really playing the role of villain here anymore, so much as just a misguided hero. He's not like trying to conquer the world anymore. He's just basically trying to protect mutants. But even still, it just was a little disappointing considering how good I thought the first 3 issues were. And then over in the land of DC, we have Injustice Year 5, number 18. And Injustice really has kind of been on a downward spiral ever since Tom Taylor left it after Year 3. It was always, because in the video game it's based on, we see Superman kill the Joker, and then we skip ahead 5 years later to where Superman's become like the totalitarian dictator of the entire planet. And the comics are filling in that 5-year gap, and it's fantastic. The first 3 years were mind-blowingly good. It was like they explained a lot of stuff away that you'd have to like. But what if this happened? And why didn't this guy stop Superman and all that? A lot of that got explained away. And Year 4 was literally silly. It was the gods coming down from Olympus to fight Superman. And I'm like, wow, you're really running out of ideas at this point. But I'm going to stick with it because we're close to the end. And now in year 5, it's like they realized, oh crap, we're right here at the end. We gotta like ducktail in everything. And this thing just like feels like they're trying to shove in as much as they have to before they hit that deadline in the time game, or they faced in the video game. And it's just really becoming apparent that they're not putting as much thought into this as they should. And this issue was kind of fun. It centered around Deathstroke pulling a mission for Batman. It was fun action, but there was a lot of times where I would stop in the middle of reading and go, but this hasn't happened yet, or something like that. And I'm kind of bummed. I'm glad they're right at the end. And they announced that when the new video game comes out, they're doing another set of comics, but Tom Taylor is going to be back to work on it. Okay. So I'm very happy that he'll be back.
So there's a bright future ahead.
Yeah,
it's disappointing to hear that you're 0 for 2 right now. I mean, that happens.
We'll end on a high note. The last one I got is Aliens: Life and Death #1. And Dark Horse started doing this really cool kind of shared universe with Aliens, Predator, and Prometheus. Mm-hmm. And they did one, I think either last year or the year before that. It was the Fire and Stone storyline. Mm-hmm. But they did it weird where, like, on the first week of the month would be Predators, and the second week of the month would be Aliens, and the third week would be Prometheus, and then the fourth week would be Aliens versus Predator. So it was nice in the sense you always had something to read, cool. But it was like everything was coming out at such a quick pace. Stories were overlapping, and story A is set 2 months before story C, and story C is set 3 months after story, and you're like, and you're just trying to process it all. And it was a good storyline overall, but it was really confusing in terms of trying to set everything in the terms of the timeline. But this time around, they started with Predator, and they did monthly, so it was Predator 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that was all a single storyline. And then came Prometheus afterwards, which picks up right where the Predator storyline ends, and monthly does 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now we have Aliens picking up right where Prometheus ended.
Great.
So it's taking me longer to get through the story, but I will gladly sacrifice that in terms of having a nice, coherent, single flowing thread.
A nice assembly line coming
down.
And
it's really cool because, there's the running gag with Aliens is, what abandoned space station overrun with aliens is it this time, But this one's nice because they're really weaving in the elements to Prometheus, like the engineers, and now the Predators are in on it too. Yeah. And I think they're really finally getting to the meat of why the Predators and the engineers do not like each other. Mm. We don't know why, but every time the Predator sees an engineer, he goes into like a berserker rage and tries to kill it.
Do any of those guys like anybody though?
No. Well, the aliens hate everything. They'll kill you no matter what. But it's interesting because the engineers clearly have an agenda, and the Predators clearly have an agenda, and the aliens are just there for funsies, killing everybody. Yep. And there's human characters in there too, because otherwise we wouldn't understand anyone. But it's nice because the human characters are actually not annoying little like placeholders to just die horrible deaths, and then
red shirts.
They actually have personality, and like you want to see these guys come through, Right. And so I'm digging it. And
do the humans have an agenda here too with the corporation?
No, it was the human thing is it starts off. Wayland Corp has the mining rights to a planet. Mm-hmm. They send a group of Marines to the planet because they think another corporation got there ahead of them and is trying to sneak all the minerals out before Wayland gets away. So the Marines show up basically thinking they're just going to evict a bunch of squatters who shouldn't be there. Right. And then all hell breaks loose with the Predators and the aliens and the engineers showing up. And then we just go from there.
So all 4 on the same planet.
Yeah.
Oh, what a bad day. The guy who took the worst assignment.
So I'm really liking the Dark Horse shared Alien Predator Prometheus universe, and I will hopefully follow this one for years because I think there's a wealth of stories you can do.
Great.
For everybody. And so that's my comic stuff for the week.
It's Dark Horse too. I love Dark Horse.
Dark Horse does fantastic stuff.
I'll tell you, it seems like they just keep hitting stuff out of the park over and over and over.
Hellboy, Conan.
Yeah.
Their Dark Horse really knocks it out of the park a lot.
We gotta do some Hellboy later in a later episode because there's more Hellboy coming out. I just saw on one of the comic sites, and I really like to get. I really want to get that Hellboy in Mexico, even though it's months old by this point. But Hellboy is like eternal. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Hellboy's fantastic.
Just fantastic. You could pick up a 10-year-old Hellboy and it'd be like it just came out today.
I do have one last bit of comic news. Is DC, they did that big Rebirth event a couple months ago, and I think by and large, DC Rebirth has been a resounding success for the company as a whole. They just announced their first big company-wide event, which is going to hit in December, and it's going to be Justice League versus Suicide Squad. And it's basically going to be Justice League discovers the Suicide Squad exists, and they're not too happy that the American government is using a bunch of people they locked away as hitmen for what the government, wants. And Suicide Squad has done some reshuffling around of the roster, because really, if you just threw Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and Harley Quinn at Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, it would not be a long fight. So they've reshuffled some members around. I won't give away who, but they definitely are a credible threat, to an actual Justice League in an actual fight. Awesome. And I'm looking forward to it because I love the Justice League and I love Suicide Squad. So I think this is going to be a really sweet crossover so far.
That sounds great. And anything with Suicide Squad right now is so hot.
I can't believe it. It's $720 million last time I checked was the movie.
And it just keeps going.
Keeps going.
And didn't we cover it on the site? And we put out when it was coming, and then when it hit, and all the
critics tore it apart. Yeah, I reviewed it.
Apart.
I reviewed it. I think I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I said it was good. There was some room for improvement, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always just fun.
Yeah,
don't try to go in there and try to read all this depth in the Suicide Squad. It's superheroes and Batman and Superman and stuff. Come on, you can't go too deep into this. But hey, I said in the review when I put it up, I hadn't seen it at that point, and I said, let's see what the fans say. And the fans said, we love it. And it's still going. That's probably going to cross $1 billion before this is over.
No,
unless they pull it to put it on DVD.
August 5th is when it came out. It's near the end. It's close to the end of its.
It was pretty high up on the charts.
Oh, it's definitely big. It's more than quadrupled its budget. So I think they can resoundingly call this one a success. And that's even before like home rental or putting it out on DVD or anything. Right. But yeah, I don't know.
They really got to think about that because considering the stinkers that came out this summer, I mean, that they were pushing in the spring, and I'm going to be merciful here, and I'm not going to name them, but there was some stuff they were pushing like crazy. Every site you went to, there was an ad, and I was like, this better be good, and it was a bomb, and just horrible, and it fell off the charts almost overnight. So they ought to look at this and say, hey, you know what? The fans love it. Let's throw
it was a sleeper hit.
Take your time with it. And now Margot Robbie's talking about doing her own spin-off.
The Harley Quinn
and directing it. So that's going to be interesting. She strikes me as someone like she's got the lights on.
Which is crazy because she's my age.
Yeah, the lights on over there. Like, she seems to be like, she's getting smart quick. She's like, I'm going to start doing everything here. I'm going to do the acting, and I'm going to do the directing, and I'm going to do the producing.
I'll be interested to see how this is just speaking in the comics. I've never really been into Harley as a solo act. I think she's at her best when she's like the annoying member of a team that everybody hates but has to put up with because she's actually useful. But we'll see what they do with it. I'm betting that the Joker will at least be in it. Maybe not as much as she is if it's going to be a solo movie, but I'm betting you really can't do a Harley Quinn movie at least touching on the Joker at some point.
Right, he's got to be.
Yeah,
that's Quinn.
Yeah,
you gotta have him.
And Jared Leto was unnerving. Every time he came on the screen, my skin crawled.
Good.
And it was like, it was creepy.
And he had to hold up to the previous Jokers, which were...
Ledger and all them.
And you can snicker a little bit, but even if you go back to the 60s with what's his name? Romero.
Well, that was
great Joker.
That was when the Joker was like brand spanking new in the comics. There wasn't anything to base it off of. He was making it up as he went. Yeah. And he was, And
he may have created the Joker. Purely out of
certainly
show.
Certainly its early appearances.
He added a lot to it. From that show, and the Harley thing, it continues to amaze me because if I understand correctly, and I understand she was kind of by accident, kind of like a mention, and then just kind of began.
No. She started in the animated series, Batman the animated series.
But I don't think she was ever meant to get this.
They just felt like Joker should have a female sidekick, and they picked
way back when she was just there.
Yeah, they picked her in the. Even I remember in the '90s, she was pretty popular in the '90s cartoon, and then she just kept appearing in Batman stuff, and then eventually they just said she's so. Huge with the fans. They made her a comic character. So
that's
she's
the interesting thing. It's like for those of you who are into music, you go and you see that band that's in the clubs, and then they're the opening act. And they're opening. All of a sudden, bang! They're playing stadiums. You're like, what happened? And the fans just saw it and went nuts, and the word got out. And that's exactly what's going on with Harley Quinn right now. She is the thing. And if you don't mind, I just want to take you on a quick side note here. Related though, I just came back from Robercon down in Binghamton today. Robercon. Go to Sci-Clops because I got a lot of pictures up there, and I've also got pictures over at the Facebook site, Sci-Clops.com, and just tons of pictures. And of course, Harley's hot again. You go there, and the cosplayers are just going crazy.
Oh, this Halloween is going to be Harley Quinn everywhere.
It's going to be Harley Quinn Halloween. It's going to be Harley Quinn and Joker Halloween, absolutely. And probably some Star Wars Rebels too. You might see. You know who else is climbing the charts right now? Just going back to Rebels. I know we're kind of all over the place here, but it's all kind of interlinked. All of a sudden, there's been like another Ahsoka Tano.
Oh yeah, they brought her back.
Rocketing up the charts again.
They brought her back in Rebels,
yeah.
And I think it was a great choice because, everyone wanted to see like, oh my God, what is she gonna do if does she know that Vader is Anakin and all this, interplay that could happen between the two of them if she shows up. And I was really convinced they were going to kill her off before Clone Wars ended.
I was too. And don't say too much. You're going to laugh. I'm not done with Clone Wars yet.
Oh, yeah, I won't say it.
I'm well on my way
but
into it.
They found an interesting out with her and as to why she's not around during Order 66.
She's great. And I got to say, Clone Wars is just so well written. And there we go back to that conversation.
I didn't like the middle seasons.
You didn't like them?
I thought Season 1 was awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought Season 1 opened great with those Clone Trooper stories and stuff like that. It's funny. The stuff I like the most from Clone Wars isn't anything to do with Anakin or Obi. It's the Clone Trooper stuff.
The troopers are great, and they really put a lot of
personality, a lot of depth into them. They're not basically just carbon copies of one another. They actually are people.
And wasn't it nice to see one break away every now and then?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm a person here. I
Captain
don't want
Rex,
to do this.
Yeah. And wait till you get to the end of Clone Wars. They do a whole couple episode arc on just a clone trooper, and it is fantastic.
I just did the one where they're training, and it's basically all about how they get humans and how some of them didn't make it.
Well, remember in that early 03 Clone Wars, the animated ones, the shorts, the clone trooper ones, they were just monsters.
Yeah,
they were just destroying bad guys left, right, front, and center. And if you haven't seen the original 03 Clone Wars, those little 5-10 minute episodes, they have them out on DVD now as like hour-long movies. Go back and watch them because those were amazing.
They were amazing, and sadly, they really answered a lot of questions for movie 3. Why did movie 3 open with Grievous coming up, and he's now it's interesting because in the Clone Wars,
Grievous
he's got the cough and the lung problem.
No, didn't.
He was coughing like crazy,
yeah,
but
right.
In the movies, he had that cough because of what happened in those cartoons that you talked about.
You're right. He did have that.
So they kind of slipped up on that a little bit. They kind of indicated in the Clone Wars that he had some issue going on, but that wasn't the case. It was because we won't
give it away, but
we don't want to tell you what happens.
But it was fantastic.
But it's key to opening the third movie, and you would enjoy the third movie a lot more if you'd seen those two cartoons. And they really didn't.
I remember being in the theater, and when Grievous came on screen, I was like, because me and you would watch the cartoons. But I remember looking around that theater, and people were like, "Who is this?"
Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
They didn't push the cartoons. It was again, we could go on for hours. They just got lost. They got the creative team. They had some good ideas, but they didn't market it well, and it was just a mess. So we don't want to go down that road again because we've been down there many times, and they're cleaning it up now. They are, to be fair, Star Wars is getting cleaned up really well, and it's really coming out good. They love the Clone Wars. People love the new Rebels. They love the new movies. Looks like the Rogue One's going to be hot. We're hoping, crossing our fingers. There's been a little bit of chair shuffling on that one going on, but we'll see between some of the studio doing stuff. But anyway, so I just want to mention that you go to the cons, you can tell who's going to be hot just by going to the cons and see who everybody's dressed up as, and it's still the latest Star Wars, and it's still Harley Quinn and Joker. They're the hottest things. Are you doing any games?
Not any new board games. I'm playing Fireteam Zero more, and we're getting into the later campaigns. It's it's like maddeningly frustrating. It's almost like Dark Souls for video game players. It's punishingly difficult. You have really got to work as a team, and it's awful. But the best kind of awful.
What's it called again?
Fireteam Zero.
Fireteam Zero.
1942. Okay. It's the Nazi occult game I'm playing where you're stopping all of Hitler's crazy monsters. But I'm looking. I find myself now when I go out to like the comic store or the local video game store, they have like little board game sections and stuff like that. I'm like looking at that. I'm like, I'd play that. I think I'm gonna have to buy a new one soon and try it.
There's a lot of great games out there, and this is the time. Games are hot. I'm still doing Crows, and love the Crows. I mentioned it last or the first episode, and they've got the Crows board game. We'll have a link up to it and maybe some pictures. I'll be reviewing it soon. I promised last time, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But
you can't see why I'm shaking my head.
Just to summarize, it's about crows. It's a really neat little game. It's crows. You chase these shiny objects around. Depending on it's almost like a little bit of a game of chess with crows and these little objects. But I'm not doing so good describing it. I'll put it up on the site shortly, and we'll go from there. But that's what I'm playing, Crows. And music-wise, anything related to sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, I'm doing a band. This is great. There is another Kickstarter project called Galactic Empire. And these guys are freaking awesome.
Oh my God!
Out of Britain. They're touring now. Remember? And the Kickstarter, they dress up like the characters from Star Wars.
I would go see this.
And they are fantastic. They play Star Wars tunes, and they look great. Their costumes are just
Wait,
amazing.
Like tunes based on Star Wars, or actual music from the movies?
Actual music from Star Wars.
Oh
and
my
they play
God.
it with rock. It's a rock band.
That's
and
awesome.
they're in full costume. I don't know how in God's name
You
they're
play
doing
an
this
instrument, yeah.
with those costumes on. But if you
So,
go to
okay, who do we have? We have a stormtrooper, TIE pilot, Boba Fett, Vader, and an Imperial Guard. Or one of Palpatine's personal Red Guards.
Yep. Of course, they're out of the UK, and they're going to be doing a 2016 UK tour. It's coming up soon. They got on the Facebook site, Galactic Empire. And the guys are just fantastic. Just really funny. Really got a good sense of humor, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun. I hope they come to America. I hope they do.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I definitely would go see these guys.
Oh God, yeah.
Imagine the after show party.
That would be insane. You can have the Cantina Band as the opener.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. The opener. But can you imagine the crowd, the cosplayers in the crowd?
Oh yeah, you'd have to go. You'd have to go as costume.
So we've had them on the site a bunch of times. I've mentioned Galactic Empire. I've supported them on Kickstarter, and I really like them. I think they're a lot of fun. I think they're worth your time if you want to throw them a few bucks. So Galactic Empire is the music, and again, Wolfheart. I was into them last week, and I'm on the next album. Wolfheart is they only got 2 albums on. All I can say is I love them. Heavy metal, very heavy metal on Northern Europe, and really great stuff. If you like, again, a cross between Fear Factory and Sepultura is what I'd call it. Love it. Almost industrial rock, or industrial metal. So check them out, Galactic Empires and Wolfheart. And what else? You got anything you're listening to, or you got anything?
Not anything like
Nothing
horror
related?
or sci-fi really related. I'm chugging through Rob Zombie's newest album,
Great.
which is a lot of fun.
Well, that's related. He's all over.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Rob Zombie.
he just keeps getting weirder, and I keep loving it.
What's the name of the latest album?
I can't. It's like the Electric Warlock Satanic Ritual
Satanic-
or something. I don't even
Which
know.
is something.
Yeah.
It's about 10 words long.
He just keeps doing it. Like the last one was Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor.
It's fantastic.
And I'm not a big fan of the movies, but I mean his music is just so awesome. It's not even funny.
I can just picture him sitting around his house with his wife going, "Hey,
Hey,
what do you want to name the
Yeah.
next one? Oh, let's just pull some words out of a hat here and see
Well,
what
the
happens."
last one was 6 words, so I got to up that. So
I think he must have a blast doing this. And
I've listened to interviews with him, and he just seems like he just has a lot of fun doing it.
another one
And
of
you
those
can tell.
rock stars who you think the light's on.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell this guy, he's not just this scruffy, dreadlocked rock star.
Yeah, he's got a brain.
He's got some. There's more going on there. You can see him later on producing a bunch of bands or doing something big. Trying to find the name of that album. I'm going over to his site. Is it on there? Waiting for the thing to load now. But anyway, his album titles are fantastic. And I miss the White Zombie. Boy, I wish they could.
Astro Creek 2000.
Boy, do I love
Fantastic
the
album.
White Zombie. I wish they could.
Supercharger Heaven.
And do that again.
Supercharger Heaven is fantastic weightlifting music.
Yeah.
Just like
Great for
powering
working
through and.
Well, the darn site isn't loading. That's my computer, so it's not. I can't get anything to move or do anything. But here we go. I got the volume off. It's stuck. It's just dragging. Don't worry about it later. But anyway, he's got a good album out. Oh, okay. So it looks like when I turned it on, the music actually started playing, and Tom's got headphones on. It's blowing pulling his ears out right now. Sorry about that, Tom.
No, I mean, like, unmute the volume.
Ah, got it. Okay. Don't let me engineer your podcast because God knows what I'm going to click on next. There we go.
It's learning process.
Watch your ears. Here we go. There we are. We're still learning. We're on number 2, but we make a few mistakes. Quick couple wrap-up things here. We covered a website that's kind of cool. We do a little science on the side here because you can't have nerds and geeks without a little science. There is a site out there that I put on Sci-Clops about a day ago. It's spacetelescope.org/images. Or just look up Google Sharpest View Ever of the Andromeda Galaxy, or even better, go to the Sci-Clops site and look it up. Andromeda Galaxy. You can do a search there, and you can do a zoom in. It's the sharpest view ever of the Andromeda Galaxy from the Hubble, and what they've done is like millions of pixels. It's a shot of the part of the Andromeda Galaxy, a cropped version of the full image, and has 1.5 billion pixels. Pardon me, I said millions, and here it is billions. You would need more than 600 high-def television screens to display the whole image. And you can have a zoom tool that comes with this thing on the site, and you can zoom in. And just be mentally prepared, because when you see the sheer number of stars and the size of this thing, it's going to be unbelievable. I'm kind of a space nerd, so I always push this kind of stuff. And wrapping up, though, we've got we'd love to see you come over and visit the site, Sci-Clops.com. At the very top, you'll see we're giving away little gift cards. Amazon we do give them out. If all you got to do is leave us a comment, just let us know you've been there, or leave a comment on something, and we do draw and we do give the card out once a week, and we want you to win. And it's a great little way to buy yourself another comic book or a game
toys.
or something. Toys, geek toys.
I had to stop myself from buying X-Men figures today at Target.
Oh, how can you? And Christmas is coming. Black Friday.
I know. I can't even.
Crazy. I
have no shelf space left. I have to
gosh, so much stuff's gonna hit all at once. And we do have the little contest on there. We do have a new. We have the YouTube channel. We hope you subscribe. We really need subscribers. We'd love to have you. We've got Facebook, Instagram,
Want to list off
Pinterest.
the accounts?
Yeah.
To close the account names.
What do you got? Sure.
Well, you can follow me. I'm on Instagram as tgabriel0891, TGABRIEL 0891. I think I'm on Twitter as the same thing.
And he's always got good little pictures. And we've got Sci-Clops Facebook, Sci-Clops website, Sci-Clops Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest too, believe it or not, and the YouTube channel. So we will be, we always update stuff. We always put new stuff on as fast as we can go. And if you can, support us through the site. Click on Amazon links. If you're going to do any shopping on Amazon, please click the link and shop through our little Amazon link at the top right-hand corner. Or any of the stuff we cover, we usually put a little link for the product.
And if you do buy something, screenshot it for us. We'll give you a little shout out.
Yeah,
on,
we'd love
Instagram.
to see it. If you buy a toy or something, take a shot.
Yeah,
and send it over to us. And, we'd love to see what you get.
We love supporting people,
Geek
blowing
toys.
money on nerd stuff. Because Lord knows I spend enough of my day doing it.
You never blow money on nerd stuff. It's an investment.
It is. I'm looking at my long boxes of comics and I gotta do something.
Yeah, I gotta put another support up in the house because you've got so many comics on that second floor.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have an appropriate amount of
Tom has gone comic crazy and has boxes and boxes of issue number
It's only 10 long boxes.
So if anybody out there would like to
3
invest,
shelves of graphic novels.
And toys and games and prizes and figures and...
Don't know what you're talking about.
I have been remarkably restrained in not buying too much stuff. I'm delighted. So, and we will have everything we've talked about here. We'll put up. You'll see it on this podcast. There'll be links and stuff. So I think that's about it. We'll have another podcast very shortly, number 3. But thank you so much for listening to number 2. And anything you want to hear about, if you want us to talk about anything, sci-fi, fantasy, horror related, let us know. Send us notes if you like us. If you want us to change anything. We'll ignore you, but you can send us a note anyway. Just kidding. But we'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your comments and suggestions. Tom, do you want to say anything before we go? Or?
No, it's always fun talking about all this stuff. And we hope to see you next time.
Great.
See you later, Cyclopeans.
Good night, Cyclopeans. Goodbye. We'll see you in a few more days. And keep up the geek.
Keep up the geek. I like it.
Bye now.